Hello, everybody. Welcome out to our business training for tonight. Our topic is attracting the right people. Jade and I have talked a lot about this subject, and hopefully it'll be really awesome. And we've got Lisa here from Australia, so this will be a great video. We have a lot of people that are going to watch this after the fact, so that's cool.
It's awesome. I'm really excited. I've been looking forward to this class all week because there's only a few of us. It's going to be hopefully very short. And I know that it's not a good night for people, but I've had so many people say that they really want to watch this recording. So we're going to record it for you guys. So we're going to talk about attracting the right kind of people. So that's the topic, okay? And let's see, what do we do?
Just scroll up.
Scroll up.
I'll be the mouse guy.
Okay, thank you. Next. Okay, so why do we want to attract the right kind of people? In the past, network marketing, people have said, talk to 100 people, and then maybe 10 will want to hear, and then maybe 2 will join, and but you have to be like a what do you call it? Rhinoceros? What is it? There's thick skin, and it's uncomfortable. And I think to myself, I don't want to do that. It's just not fun. What's the point of doing that, right?
Because it's a people business. And
yeah.
People, they build a relationship with you, and they stick around.
So we have a mission. We want to help people, but we want to help people, the right kind of people. So we don't need to be uncomfortable the whole time, talking to strangers and cold calling people and being awkward. And I think that's what gives the network marketing industry a very bad rap, because people are not doing it right. I've had a lot of people come up to me and they say, well, how you do it? It's like a ministry. It doesn't even feel like you're doing it a business. And I say, yeah, I'm doing it as a business. I'm making money, and it's like, wow, that's different. And that's why it's very difficult for me to just buy into a set program or something that has already been established, because there's no heart in it. There's no genuine authenticity in it. So I've just been doing it the way I felt is comfortable for me, and it's been working. And recently Ben and I have been tutored by Kenneth Todd, and he confirmed what we were doing is good and successful business practice, even though it's not the typical way, but it's a good way to do it. And I feel like it's more effective, and you have a happier kind of lifestyle and existence when you do it that way. So basically, why we want to do this, why we want to attract the right kind of people, is because we're trying to have a clearer target audience. So we need to really find out who we want to attract. Now, I have lots of girlfriends, and we have conversations where in the end I'm thinking, you need to learn to know yourself before you expect other people to know you, okay? And because if you don't know yourself, how hard is it for other people to know you, right? So we're going to go through some activities to help us clarify our target audience. And then this will give you more confidence. And we're not going to need to be pushy or desperate anymore. We don't need to give samples to people left and right. We don't have to be, targeting everyone. We will be very selective in our activities and how we do our business. And it makes our business so much more fun and meaningful. All right. So the next thing we want to talk about is, makes work more fun, okay, and easy. Oops. Yeah. So if you have people that you absolutely love, you think about your people that you just really enjoy hanging out with. If you imagine them sitting there at a dinner table with you, sharing and talking oils, right? Would that be fun? So yeah, it would be fun. You look forward to it and you think, I can't wait for that class because I get to sit with my friends and talk oils. But if you think about all those people that might be nasty, I don't know how she's going to react, I hope she's open to it, and then you're dreading it, and sometimes subconsciously you try to make a an excuse to cancel the class or to postpone the class because you're really not happy. So everybody has this internal compass. So trust that internal compass. Because any of those negative people, they will poison you and they'll poison your business. And you don't need to invite poison. You can just have a whole group of best friends and just hang out and share that cause and that vision and keep moving forward together as a united group, right? So that makes more sense. So now we're going to be slightly more picky, and that's good. All right. I tell people that you need to harvest the ripe kind of people, the right and the ripe kind of people. We'll talk about that later.
It's not a spelling error.
No, it's not a spelling error. Kind of like fruits. If people are not ready, they're not ready. So don't force it. This will help us focus on our work and know what we're supposed to be doing and know what we're not supposed to be doing. Sometimes we wonder, I want to do this business. Where do I start? What do I do today? And is my activity fruitful? Is it going to be wasting my time? Right? And then if we are bloggers and posts, which we should do because this network marketing business is about attracting people all over the world, because you don't have to necessarily work in one location. So when you do those blogs and posts, your objective, your audience is very clear. So as a teacher, when I teach kids how to write, I say, who are you writing to? So if they don't have an audience, then their writing is vague and it doesn't help anyone and it's not interesting to anybody, because if it's to everybody, it's to nobody, okay? So when we know who we're talking to, we will master our message. Okay, and we will be very, very good at our target message. So think about that. So basically, in your mind, you're just gathering a group of friends. You just get more happy, more excited, and you look forward to going to work. You look forward to going to that class because you're teaching everyone to be thinking and talking to people that they're comfortable with only. So if you have a party at your house, if it's like an anniversary or something, you don't want to hang out and invite all the people that, are kind of mean and rude to you. And okay, you want really your good friends, you want to pick them and you want to experience this celebration together. So sort of like that. So the other thing that I learned is you don't need to please everyone. So this is liberating, because then you feel like, oh, okay, I don't have to think about so-and-so, I don't have to think about these people. I just need to focus on what is the person that I really want to help need. Okay, so I'll explain more about that in a sec. Okay, so everybody should have their avatar. So the word avatar is just a name of a person that we
it's your target market. The person you're searching for.
Okay, that person represents the person you're searching for. So earlier this week, I was talking to my girlfriend, and she was stressing about her schedule, and she was planning about 10 classes this month, and she was just so worried about her classes already, and she's dreading it. And I said, well, who do you really enjoy working with? And she said, oh, I love teachers. I just, I can teach teachers all day long. And I said, well, who do you not want to work with? Oh, there's all these people that I try to help, and then they don't want to help themselves and all these things. And I said, well, don't help them. Let's just teach teachers. And she was like, oh, okay. And I said, well, can we figure out why you like teachers? So we listed out the characteristics in teachers that she likes. It doesn't have to be all teachers. It needs to be specific teachers that she's looking for. Okay, teachers that are open to natural remedies, teachers that care for other people, that want to know more about health, that want to take care of themselves, that want to learn. They're self-driven, self-motivated teachers and learners, of course. And so we listed it, and she just got happier and happier and happier. And then at the end, she was like, you know what, my 10 o'clock class, that won't work, because 10 a.m. the teachers are at school. And she said, I'm scrapping it. And I said, yeah, throw it out, because you don't need to have that class. right? Because she was dreading that class. That was the one class that she was thinking that's going to make her life miserable. And I'm thinking, you don't have to be miserable. You can really have a job that you enjoy doing all the time. Okay, and you're allowed to be picky. And then she says, well, I can go to the schools and have lunch with the teachers, because she enjoys teaching lunchtime classes because it's short and they're her friends already, or their friends of friends, and they're already the type of people she wants to help. And, I said, well, then be very good at your message. Teachers need to know what you're teaching, what is in it for them, and how they're going to get some, and how they're going to learn more. And so I told her just to narrow down her kind of presentation, get it right, get it really, really good and smooth. And here she is just going, yay, I can totally do that. She's so motivated. And so, we just have to sit down and go, okay, what kind of people do we want to attract? What the type of age groups? What are their interests? Okay. What are the things that they're interested in? Now, you don't, so we have Lisa here. I know Lisa likes Reiki. I know, Lisa, what else do you like?
Energy work.
Energy healing.
Crystals.
Yeah. So you like that stuff. And it's important. It's important to you. There's going to be people out there that they're friends of yours that you haven't met yet, right? And so you're just looking for people like you. If they share the same interests, right, they will like you and they will trust you. And then you can convert them into, here's something else you can like. And more than likely, if people share those same interests, they'll like what you like, the essential oil, right? So I have a girlfriend, she loves reading books. She loves The Hobbit. And, I said she can, put herself out there and list the things that she likes. And she can talk to friends about books forever, just hours and hours. And that will be interesting for her. And so the friends that like those things will like her. And then will like what she's thinking and how she thinks. So think about your hobbies. Think about your needs. So one of my friends, she's trying to get down to a healthy weight. And I said, don't stop sharing and helping people. Allow people to join your journey. So, be a little bit vulnerable and tell people, this is me, this is what I'm looking for, this is my problems, and I'm finding a solution in this area. And, people can join your journey. They don't have to, you don't have to be all perfect looking, to get out there and start. Because, sometimes you can't relate to people. Sometimes they look at you and they think, you know what, I don't know if I can ever be like that. But if you allow people to walk with you through the journey, then you've got helpers, you've got friends, you've got support. So it's much better to do it that way. We have mums that want to help other mums, and so they know all the worries and the problems. We need sleep. We need to know what to do for our kids when they get sick and they have cuts and bruises and things like that. What do we do? What do we do? So these mums know what other mums need, and when you present things, you present it to that audience. You don't need to present to teenagers or to IT guys and things. That's not your target audience. Okay, so one of my friends, her husband said something and that hurt her feelings. Like, she's like, "Why did he get it?" And I said,
you feel like you have to convince people,
right? And you try to convince them and try to get him to understand and see it your way. And a lot of husbands are going to be like this in this business, because they don't share your same interests all the time, and that's fine. So I said to her, "Is your husband, does he fit your avatar that we just wrote out?" And she looked at it and she's like, "No." And then she started laughing. And I said, "Well, then you don't have to feel bad, because he's not who you're looking for. All right? So you don't need to convince him." And she started laughing. She's like, "Yeah, he can't join my club." And she said, "No boys allowed." So then she was so happy, because she's thinking, yeah, why was I worried and trying to get somebody that I'm not really wanting into the club anyways? Yeah. So, so liberating, right? But what we're trying to do is just list out the characteristics of the friends and the people that we really want to work with. So I had a girlfriend this week as well. We talked about this in our mentoring, and she had a couple of people on her list that she was like a little bit nervous about. She was trying to prep herself. And, you know, if you're uncomfortable, don't put yourself through it, right? And I said, pick a person. If you imagine that person being there at your table that you'd be super comfortable with, okay? And she's like, oh, I know her, and this is her name. And I said, great. And I said, list out her characteristics. Oh, she's loving, she's spiritual, she's, you know, very giving, and she thinks about other people. And so she just kept listing. And so we wrote all of that out. So what I want everyone to do is spend some time writing all of those characteristics out. And then that will help you be selective. And, you know, if they're not that, if they're not caring or spiritual like you want them to be, then you think, you know, I'll share with you. Maybe you can be a customer, but you may not be the person that I really would like to work with. And you're allowed
You're
to
not going to spend all your time on that person.
No.
And just
it's going to be like 80-20.
give them what they need, and, you know, but work.
So they're going to be in the
effort
20% group. That I spend 20% of your time on those people, help them out, show them how to order and things, and do it properly. But you don't need to spend so much time to try to convince them, to try to educate them when they're not ready and not willing. So
you don't have to chase them.
Yeah, the 80% of the time.
Them.
Yeah, the 80% of the time that you have in your business should be spent on and with the people that you really enjoy. Because, you know, life doesn't have to be that difficult. You don't have to make it more difficult. And then family. So certain people, they have certain family dynamics. And you might want to think about that, because I have a friend that she's retired and, well, she's not retired. She has got grandchildren and everything. And, you know, she can help other people. Yeah. So, we just talked just yesterday night at one of our local classes, and she was thinking, yeah, all of these ladies, they really, you know, her friends, they really want to help people, and she wants to help people. But what was her problem? Her problem was she had no direction. She was just being busy helping this and helping that. Now she has something really substantial to offer people. And so I said, well, just pick your friends, just pick those people, because they're retired, they've had a lifetime of work, and now they just want to give back. And she's like, oh my gosh, you know, I can help these people, you know, find some direction, you know, have some sort of a cause. So then it started sparking ideas in her head. So yeah, everybody will be different. You're different, and that's the best part. There's always going to be opportunities. So yeah, you're never going to have to need to be like anybody else. Alrighty. So this is an example of, you know, the sheet that we said that we talked about earlier. So it could be somebody age from 25 to 60. I don't know. That's
a big range.
Yeah, that's a big range. We can narrow it down too. But if like my friend, she wants teachers, because teachers can be around those ages, right? Maybe young teachers might not be interested in health because maybe they're super healthy, they're not married yet, you know, and so she was thinking around this age, and that's fine, because she's really looking for a particular group of people in the community. And so the age really doesn't matter. But we want to narrow the age down anyways. And then their interest is children. Of course, they like to help children. They are interested in learning, and they're interested in helping the community. Those teachers, their hobbies are reading, of course. So when you bring books to your class, they're like, yay! So my friend, she's not afraid to bring books. I can tell you now, sometimes in the past, when I was, you know, my avatar was everyone, it was very tiring, because I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to this class with a whole bunch of, you know, maybe yoga people or something, these other people, what would they need? And so one time I bought a whole bunch of books that I felt really strongly about, because I'm like, yay, I love these things, because I'm a teacher, right? And one yoga lady, she picked up the book and she's like, ugh, too big. Who would read this? And I thought, what? Don't you want a reference guide to know what to do with the oils? You know? And then she looked at the little book and she's like, yeah, this is what I want. That's it. And, you know, I said, you don't want this at home to reference in case you need it? No. Very different. Yeah. So if you know your audience, then you can meet their needs every time. So, you know, my friend, she decided that's her audience is their teachers. So she's like, yeah, and I bring all these books, and they're like writing all the titles down, and they want to buy it, right? And that's good, because you know your audience. They're not afraid to pick up a book and flip through it. What are their needs? Their needs are, where do I get information? Their needs are, hey, you know, how do I quick reference something? Give me some facts and information right here and now so I can apply it right now. And they need systems to follow. So when you sign them up, you know, here's a system. Here's a sheet of paper where you can, you know, make sure you cover all your basis and be thorough with orientating them. And here's another thing, you know, when you're teaching this class, here's another thing. They like systems. Okay, so those are the people that you want to work with. So that's what you deliver. So what do they want? Their wants. They want to be healthy. They want to have energy to run after their children and their students. They want a way to deal with negative people. And sometimes things are hard. There's naughty boys and girls, and there's parents that are, you know, difficult, and then there's other staff members that are difficult. So they want something to fix that and help them manage. Okay, they want some quick and easy health solutions such as keychains or apps, and you know, you can keep going with that. Or they have problems like stress, because, you know, report time and lack of time. You know, because everything is like chop, 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 clockwork. Or they have problems focusing. They have naughty kids in their class. What do they do for those naughty kids? And so these people, what are their characteristics? So, you know, you can see that we have a lot of things we need to think about, but the more time and the sincere effort you put into this will pay off, because now you go, I know exactly who I'm looking for. Yeah. So you can see the characteristics that we listed there: independent thinkers and learners, and tech skills, computer skills. These are the people we're looking for. So my friend, she doesn't want to sit down and show people how to use a computer, all right? And sometimes people complain to her and go, oh, I don't want to order online, you order for me. So imagine if you have hundreds of people like that. And she's like, no, that's so tiring. I want these teachers to get it, to order themselves and do all these things. And she wants specific teachers. She wants people that are married with kids, because she's got other interests, like she wants to teach about children. So, you know, that's good, because the more you know about who you want to attract, the better. Okay. So I tell people, if you can imagine that, you know, because we feel very strongly, a lot of us feel very strongly about doing doTERRA as a business, because we've been moved by, you know, inspiration of God, the divine, right? We want to help the world. So I think, you know, sometimes for me, it's like, yay, pick me. I want to go. I want to help. I want to volunteer. So in the past, it was like, yay, I'm going to go. And it's like all of the, you know, God's vineyard and orchards and stuff. And I'm just running here, running there, running here, running there, picking everything, doing everything for everyone. And it was nutty. It was crazy. And it was more effort for very, very little fruits, actually. And I felt very drained and unhappy when these oils really brought me so much happiness and joy and liberation. And I'm thinking, why? What's the problem? Well, the problem was I didn't stop and ask, hey, which vineyard did you want me to go into? Which orchard? You know, when they get very specific, you know, God can say, hey, I just want you to go and pick the oranges from the orange orchard. Okay, so I'm like, okay, I know my job, my part. I don't have to do everyone's job and talk to everyone. So that's good. You know, these other people will take care of them. Okay, these are my people that I'm interested in, and that brings me joy. Okay, because I don't need more problems. And that's another clue for me. If these people are causing me to have problems, then I think God's telling me something, that they're not my people, right? So you can see, if you go into an orchard, there's going to be fruits that are so ready, they've fallen off the tree already. They've like volunteered. So I've got people that have come up to me and say, Jay, I want to join doTERRA. I want to do the business. I want to do it the way you're doing it. And I'm like, whoa, okay. A to Z, you know, that's where they jump to really quickly. And, you know, they're ready, and you're thinking, yay. Okay, and those are the people that you're making friends with, and then you run with, and that's awesome. And there's people that are ripe that you have to kind of just talk to and open up and pluck, easy. And then you've joined them to your club and they're off and running, and they come back because they know your vision. Okay. And there's those people that are green and not quite ripe. You don't need to yank and pull and work hard to get them, because if they're not ready, they're not ready. You just got to wait. Right? Does that make sense? Yeah?
Yep, definitely.
Yeah. Do you have any questions so far?
No, it's pretty good.
Yeah? Pretty, clear, right? So it makes it easier, hey?
Yeah, it's all the things that I've been thinking about, but yeah, it's just clarifying it all.
Yeah. I think we just need to spend some time just digging into our heart, into our minds.
Yeah.
And just figuring out what is it that would really, really, really make us happy. Because sometimes we settle with discomfort because we will serve and bend over backwards for people, and common for us to serve, and especially moms like you're a mom. We don't even realize that, hey, actually I can choose not to help them. You're a little bit draining.
Yeah, choose to spend your efforts on certain people.
Yeah.
It's not like you're choosing to ignore people.
No, it's not unloving either.
But you have a limited amount of time and effort and everything, and you get to choose to spend that with people that you want to, and pursue those people on. And sometimes it's just a matter of going out and finding more of those people.
That was one of my biggest regrets. Wasn't listening to my husband, actually. Sometimes he's like, why are you bothering with that person? You know, that person's giving you grief left and right, and you're trying to help. And I'm like, no, I'm sure she has potential inside. Everybody has potential. Everyone can change. And then I look back and I'm thinking, I sacrificed time away from my family, you know, for these people that are not ripe. They're not ready. You know, what? You know, it's just bad choice. And I learned the hard way.
Yeah, like that one guy said, you know, you work with people who move toward you and who are responding, and you have a connection with. This relationship business, you work with people, and sometimes you think, you know, this is all I have. This is the only person I have.
Yeah.
But you know what? You don't have to settle for that. You can
there's so many people
do some activities to go out and meet people. You know, you have events, do things online.
I'm telling you, it's like dating. If you know who you are, you know, really clearly, you attract the right kind of person very quickly. You know, we've moved to the new place because I'm more confident and I know who I am. Now I can enroll people very fast compared to how I was when I didn't even know myself. So it's awesome. So I think this is a good analogy. You think to yourself, is this person a ripe orange? You know, ready to pluck, great. And if, you know, it takes a little bit of convincing. We were talking about the other day, I don't know, let me go home and ask my husband. And, you know, things like that. And you're thinking, maybe you're still green. You're not quite orange and juicy yet, right? That's okay. Right. So the next thing is, because you know who you are looking for, this will help you do the next activity. And this is very important. So the next activity is, you know, to be able to answer to people, what do you do? So when people say, hey, Lisa, what do you do? Hey, Jade, what do you do? You need to be able to answer people in a very succinct and clear way. You don't and you tell them exactly who you are, what you're doing. So there's 3 parts in this. The first part is, what do you do, right? The second part is, who do you do it with? And the third is, what is your cause? What's your vision, right? So you want a quick 1-sentence answer when people ask you, what do you do? You don't need to go on and on and on and on, because sometimes people get really turned off. But this here is important because it will help you filter and weed out. So my friend and I, we figured out what she wanted. She wanted to help mums, okay, young mums. She wants a group of people that really care about the community, care about their children. And so I thought, yeah, she's narrowed it down to a group of women who are married, who've got kids that are young. So she said, so we came up with this sentence: I teach and support young mothers to be empowered with natural solutions. So if she learns this and she says it over and over and over, she's going to be very good at this. So when people say, hey, what do you do? She says, oh, I teach and support young mothers to be empowered with natural solutions. Now, if I was her avatar, right, I'll be like, oh, tell me more, right? But if I wasn't her avatar, I'll be weeded out like that. I might say, hey, good for you, interesting, okay, right? But if this here connects with me too, I'll be like, hey, tell me more, right? So this here, it serves a few purposes, okay? It's a hook, and it just lets people know who you, the pink is, what are you doing? You're teaching and you're supporting. To who? To young mothers. And what are you doing? You're empowering people with natural solutions. Done. So those 3 parts, okay? So now that, we expand it to our story, because we use our story when we do presentations or classes. Okay, so our story, you make it short, you make it simple, but it will be a little bit vulnerable because it's exactly your journey, okay? So this here is important, because when you're teaching somebody, imagine you go to a class where maybe a party where they're going to sell makeup, and you're sitting around a table and everyone's trying on makeup. You think to yourself, the goal of the person that's here is to sell me some makeup. That's it, right? But when she stands up and she says, this is her vision. She wants every woman that she meets to feel good about herself by learning the art of, enhancing her beauty, something like that. Then you're like, ooh, okay, yeah, I do want to make myself prettier, because you join her cause. You think, yeah, that makes sense. And you no longer see her as, she's going to get a buck or two from me and then she's going to take off. So you think, I want to come back maybe and get to know her maybe. I don't know. But I'm not into makeup personally. I use just a little, and just that's enough for me. But when you teach essential oils, because you're passionate, you need to show it. So again, there's 3 parts of this. It's almost the same. It's, the idea of it is to help people and tell people how it's changed you. All right. And tell people why you're doing this. Okay. So the first one I should have written, what was your problem? I wrote it wrong, the red one. I should say, what's your problem? So first of all, think about where you were before oils, okay? What were your things that you're struggling with? So my friend, she was struggling with depression, and she'd lost everything. She was very sad, she didn't know herself. And then how did the oils change? It was a godsend. It helped lift her up slowly, and it was crutches as she got out of the slump. And then what is her vision? Her vision is going out there and lifting others out of their little pits that they're in. So when she says it, her heart moves and she's so passionate about it. So when people hear that, they're not going to say, oh yeah, I'll buy a few oils and I'll never come back. They'll say, okay, what more do you have to offer? Okay, because this is a cause, or I want to join your cause. I want to help people like that. Or, hey, I got that depression too. I got that problem too. Let's make friends. Okay. So like I said, people need to know that you're genuine, that you're doing this more than just for the money. Okay. And you no longer feel desperate. You no longer need to push and try to convince people and spit out all the science and spit out anything. You just know it's this, and you're so confident that they feel it. So you say very minimal words, but it's very powerful. So there's an example here. This person says, I used to be sick all the time. I hated not knowing what to do for my health and my family's health. So right away, there's people sitting there going, yeah, I get sick all the time too. I don't know what to do. And so boom, you've related to them. Okay. And then the next thing is, when I discovered essential oils. So can you see that screen, Lisa?
Okay.
Yep. No, I was just wondering.
Yep.
Is that because it doesn't have the green?
Yep. You can see the screen we're talking
Yeah.
about?
Yep.
Okay, because I can't see the rest of the words.
I can't fix it.
Okay. So you can't budget. Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
So this is when I discovered the essential oils. I was able to know how to help my family. I have more energy, mental clarity, and my immunity was so good. I am so confident and know exactly what to do for my kids if ever they get sick. Okay, so this is my story, right? And so there's women out there going, I want to know too. Yeah, that looks good. And it gives them hope. It gives them hope. And then I tell them what I'm doing, okay? I am so passionate about creating more awareness in young mothers everywhere. It is so easy and effective, you know, that with little instruction and practice, I believe anyone can do it, okay? So I'll correct this. But you can see that, you know, if you present it this way, it only takes you, what, a couple of minutes to say at the beginning of a class. But you've already set the feeling, the tempo, the mood for the class. So everyone is there. I'll tell you, when I teach class, sometimes I have people sitting around a table, and I tell people that I'm here to help them be educated and empowered, and just to learn some skills. And hopefully by the end of the class, I would have succeeded if they've learned something, okay, that they can take home. It's not if they've bought something, it's not if they've joined, because I'm not looking for somebody to join or buy. I'm actually looking for my avatar, right? And
Looking to give someone value.
Right, and giving people value. You know, information, yes. And at the end, I don't care if they don't join or buy, because I really want to only sign up and join the people that I really want to. But I'm helping these people, who knows, because they might need this information. So it's helpful for everybody. So then there's no pressure for them to buy or join. Okay, so I've got people, they're like, oh, you're here to teach? Oh, I need paper, I need pencil, and they're ready to go, because suddenly I'm there to teach them. And I had a lady come and she says, oh yes, I love Lillian, I'm here to support Lillian. You know, she's thinking she's going to buy a candle, you know, because it's an oil or essential oil class or something. But by the end of the class, she was crying. And then she was saying, I had no idea that I was coming here for me. I had no idea. And that was really powerful for me, because I'm like, I really, you know, nailed this one, because I really wanted her to know that I'm here to serve, right? And so, of course, she joined. Of course, she was like, and what more, right? Because she knows what you're doing there. So if you know your avatar, you will know your purpose. And you've got a cause that people want to join. So it's sort of like the iPhone the craze. You know, you've got this beautiful iPhone, and it's going to come out this certain day. And there's some crazy people that line up outside the store. Why? What if they wait a week? They'll get their phone. Why do they want it now? Because when the Apple company, they present a need. They present a cause. They say, you get this, you have these feelings, and you know, help your life so much. And these people, they want it now. They don't want to just go, oh, it's just a phone, I'll wait next week. It's so exciting. You want people to feel that way. You say, I had this problem. I have this resolution because of the oils now. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go out and help people. You know, and then they're like, yes, and then this problem, and then this problem. You know, I've had people at the end of my classes going, what oils for, and they just went all over, you know, picked all the members of their family they can think of in one go. And what I do at that time is say, hold your horses. Okay, these are the reference books. We'll meet again. I've got classes every week. Don't worry, okay? But when people join your course, they will come back. They will allow you to call them. You know, we have people going, oh, I don't want to talk to her again because she might sell me another oil. They're not your avatar. They haven't joined your course. And that's okay. If they don't call back, call back or allow you to call them, let it go. Okay. Alrighty. So the last thing, because you know your avatar, you're going to have a Facebook group that is going to be filled with your friends, the people that are like you. Okay. So you're going to post things that you think they might need and that are interesting to them. And then we are going to invite all of our team leaders to create their own Facebook page. And then you want to tell them the difference between a Facebook page, their personal page, and groups?
Okay, so on Facebook, everybody, when you sign up for Facebook, you have a personal profile. That's anything you post, usually it just shows up on your profile. That's where your friends can see you, depending on what you set your, your filters at. It's your personal profile page. You're also able to create groups. And anything you post in that group can be seen by those members of the group. The cool thing about groups is that other people can also post. Everybody in the group can post things to that group. You can choose whether you want your group to be public, which means anybody can come and look at what you guys are talking about. You can choose for it to be private or closed, which means only the people in the group can see what you're posting on there. So that's up to you. It doesn't matter. But that's how it's set up. And when you post something in your group, it'll show up in the news feeds of people who are in the group. But no one else in Facebook's going to see that sort of stuff. The other thing that you can create is a Facebook page. Facebook page, Facebook set up this for businesses and for people who have a cause, they have some organization or something that they're promoting. So you can set up a Facebook page, and things you post on your Facebook page, they might be for your business, like your doTERRA business. They're not going to show up on all of your friends' posts and everything, because your friends might get sick of hearing all these things because they're not your avatar. They're your family, they're your friends. You met them at business school or, at scouting or whatever. So that this gives you a soapbox, somewhere to share your message, things you post on your Facebook page. And one good bit of advice for your Facebook page, just call it your name. It's your name, because what you're selling when you're selling, when you're out there representing doTERRA, is you're selling yourself. It's about the relationships you have with people. And you might say, your name followed by something else, like Jade Baldwin, love, inspire, reach. Just something for that people can kind of get a gist of, okay, this page is for Jade. What is she trying to sell? What is she trying to promote? And everything, all your inspirations and everything can go on there. You share something, and it's not about product. It's not about putting up, everybody, Deep Blue is 10% off. Buy lots of it. You might be really passionate about that, but that doesn't really solve anything for anybody. It doesn't help anybody. But you can say, oh man, I worked out for 5 days this week and my muscles are so sore. I'm so grateful I have this kind of job. I want to share it. Let me know. I'll show you where to get this. This is really good stuff. Those sorts of things solve things for people.
Yep.
So that's the difference between a Facebook profile. And you need a profile. Everybody on Facebook has a profile. And then you have a page which you can share with other people. They can help you with that page. And then you have websites and blogs. Can I show some examples here? Yeah. Okay. So
this is why it's important to find out who you want to attract, because then you know your audience when you have a Facebook page.
Yeah. And when you attract people, you feel attractive. All right, so I'm going to get in here to my Facebook, share my personal Facebook with everybody in the whole wide world. Okay, so this is my personal profile. Everybody has their own personal profile. It's what things that you're into, things that you post up, your family, friends, your birthdays and anniversaries and interests and all that. All those sorts of things show up on your Facebook profile. And then you can come up here to this little nifty icon here, and you can create a page. So we've created a page here for Jade. So here's a page for Jade, and we've gone through we've made a few mistakes and everything, and tried to make things happen, and we've created a few pages, and we just have landed on just being ourselves, being genuine. And so there's a page for Jade Baldwin called Jade Baldwin, Love, Light, and Healing. So there's a little bit of a caption there under her name to tell everybody kind of what she's into. So on this Facebook page, you can go and post. Here's a post about getting some sleep, and some posts about some interests that she has. And then she ties it back to a blog. So you can tie this back to a blog or a website. So we set up a website for Jade.
You can click on the other thing and it'll link you back.
Yep. So if you click on one of these things, sorry,
the other link.
There's another link. Jade says there we go. So that brings people to your blog. You don't have to have a website, but it gives you a form. It gives you a soapbox. It gives you somewhere online, virtually, where you can share your message with people.
Because eventually, after about 5-10 posts on Facebook, all that work.
Yep, all the Facebook posts go down and down. Whereas if you have something like this, you can put some bit of structure to it. Like if you have something you share with people over and over and over, you can put it there on a page or something. Or if you have a blog, maybe people can go in here and search for Majoram essential oil. It pulls up. Okay, there's a post about Majoram essential oil, and also there's another post that mentions that. And so people can go in there and they can find, and it gives you somewhere where you can share with people, where you can, and it's just what you have in common with those people that Jay's talking about, your avatar. So it gives you
the people that care about things that I care about, they'll read it and they'll enjoy it. And I write as if I'm just talking to my friends. It feels much better instead of thinking and stressing over it, and it takes a whole day to write a blog in the past, because I'm thinking, all the people that might be reading it, what are they thinking? What do I have to cover?
Yeah.
So if these people already have some sort of knowledge about oils, also interest about health and things, then I just write as if they're already there.
Yep. And the cool thing is, if you're focusing on this small group of people, it can be very small. The more defined you can get it, the better.
Mm-hmm.
Then those you can just speak to your heart's content, because these people are interested in it too. They're not going to judge you or anything. You just share whatever you want. So you can have, there's a lot of places that you can set up a website with. Here is just, what we've come up with. You can do Blogger, you can do those sorts of things. Don't matter as much as just having somewhere that you're comfortable with. And you can put blogs, or you can put maybe a page together or something like that.
I have a few friends that have lots and lots of ideas, and they think, they should write a book or something. And, I'm thinking, great, but sometimes we don't have all the time in the world to sit down and do nothing, ignore everyone around, and don't go to work and just write a book. So, if you can write, a couple of pages at a time, in a blog, eventually your blog can be compiled and be your book. But, this is a one way for the world to access it, because they can search you and search things that imagine if you are interested in salt lamps. You have people searching salt lamps, and here you are, you've got an article on salt lamps.
Yeah, and you can connect with people.
And then they can do that instead of waiting for you to produce a book, because, that's just one way of sending out the message. This is another way.
Yeah, you also have flyers on here.
Yeah. So the flyers is exactly the same. If you're going to advertise to people about your class, you want to know who you're talking to instead of, hey, doTERRA, or hey, Oil 101.
Yeah. And it's good that when you know exactly who you're talking to, you're you know what their needs are, and so you can focus on their needs. You're feeling their needs. You're adding solutions. You're serving them in some sort of way. So that's a fantastic thing there.
So The last thing really I want to say is that when you know who your avatar is, you will know your purpose and your calling. And then you will be able to measure your success by how many lives you touch. And then you'll be happy as you work, instead of going and measuring and seeing the progress in other ways that make you really sad and disappointed. Because sometimes things fluctuate, the volume of your team might fluctuate. But, knowing that you've affected these lives, that you've helped these people, makes your work meaningful. And, during those times, you can still feel happy that, you've made a difference. So it makes your work very, very happy and very good. So,
Okay.
Yep, we're going to end, but we're going to share with you a new, yep, you can see that. This is JD-fied.
So this is another
Update.
iteration, an update of Welcome to doTERRA. This is maximize membership.
Yes. So, when your people join the business, or join doTERRA, you can bring this along when they have their products. So, say Mary joined, and you can say, okay, Mary, let me know when the oils come, and I'll go through this with you. I've had lots of people say, oh, why do you do that? They should already know. And, this is a people business, because if that one person gets it, then they will turn around and do the same with the next person. So you're investing in them. And because they've joined your cause and come on board, it's worth the time, I believe. You build one person at a time. There's no rush. You don't have to have 10,000 people on your team this year. So just take this time and be with them. So step one is unbox and review. So here, just open the box. Sometimes people are afraid to open the box and they wait until you come. Other people are already playing with it. Doesn't matter. You just go through it, because you say, here are the stickers, here's this, here's that. Sometimes people go, oh, I really want stickers, like yours. And I said, you already have some. It's just silly, but sometimes they get so excited they start using the oils already, and just without reading the materials and opening everything up. For me, I always open everything up, but people are different. So here, your opportunity to be there and support them. So you're unboxing, you're reviewing the products, and reviewing how to use it. Hey, remember this one? This is how you use it, and go through with them just to check for understanding, assessing their understanding. And then you say, okay, let's log on to mydoterra.com. Here's your ID, and here's your password. So then they have a place to put that now. Okay, so that sheet of paper they're going to keep. Okay, and then step two, so it's very obvious, resources. So if these people are genuinely interested in learning about their health and improving their health, they're going to want to know where to go. Okay, so there's doTERRA.com, of course. And there's Modern Essential Book, and you can show them the app. I've got a space for other things you can add. If you're interested in books and things and you're talking to the teachers, you can write the name of the other books too on there. So your Facebook group, if you have your special Facebook group in their name, in the name of it, you can write it down. So join my Facebook group, and we'll be supporting you and all these things. And events here, conventions coming up around the corner, or here's a retreat, and here's a wellness summit that you can attend, or I have weekly classes. So invite them to more learning. Like I said, most people, if they understand the big vision, they're not going to say, oh, I'm just going to use oils once in a while, right? It's going to be, my sister was shocked when somebody said they're going to take a step back from using oils, and she's like, what? Take a break from oils? Huh? It's like, I use oils every hour, and she doesn't get it. So anyways, step three is buy at the best price. Okay, so each product has a PV value, and it's an international equalizer. So it doesn't matter the currency, it has PV. So you explain that to people, because sometimes we continue on with our jargons, and that all of these acronyms mean nothing to them. Tell them there's two ways to order. Explain what the standard order is and the LRP is. And when we say LRP, we need to spell it out, loyalty reward program. And then tell them the benefits, show them the charts. And step four, you say, well, with doTERRA, there's lots of opportunities, just so you know. So you don't need everybody to jump on board and do the business, but you want to tell them and give them the opportunity. Because there's people that come up to me later on and say, oh, do you think I can make money doing this? You know, and it's like they're thinking that this might be a good way to make money, but nobody offered them this opportunity. So you can let them know, here, you know, you can choose to be a wholesale customer, or you can casually share, or you can active share, or you can make share in your business, and explain to them what that all means. And sometimes people get a chance to choose, and that's nice, because sometimes they do need an opportunity to make some money. And then step 5 is telling them that we have wellness classes that we offer people, and you know, if they finish the 5 wellness classes, and if you have a time limit, just tell them about your time limit, and you say we're going to offer you a gift, and then ask them what gift they want, and then you can write down what gift that you've agreed to give them, and then you know, the next thing is to tell them where to go to watch the videos or to come to classes, and that's it. But can you see that that's thorough? But those people, when they sign up somebody else, they'll say, oh, where's that sheet of paper again that you use when you help me understand my membership, right? This will avoid lots of problems for you too. Because sometimes people say, well, you didn't tell me that. You didn't tell me that. It was $3 redemption. And you say, hey, look at that paper. And they're like, oh, okay, yeah, you did tell me that. Okay. Yeah, where's my number? Oh, on that paper. Okay, got it. So I hope that was helpful for you guys.
Yep.
Right? And we're here to serve, and we're so grateful. We know that a lot of people can't make it tonight, but we're recording it for you guys, and we know this is going to be very helpful for people. So
yeah. I think we lost Lisa.
Yeah, connection. I don't know, it doesn't matter.
All right.
Well, yeah, thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.